Hi, I'm Robin,
And I'm Kristen.
and we are back with another. Well, we're not back.
We are back, but we're not back. We're
Yes,
continuing
we're
our
continuing.
conversation about wings.
Yes.
Funny story. So the last discussion, we were just going on and on and on about it, and didn't realize until after that, like after almost 4 hours of talking,
Yes.
that the phone died
Yes.
and it stopped recording like halfway through.
Right.
So we are re-recording our conversation about the second half of Wings, and we figured we'll just tack on You Never Walk Alone
Yes.
because we were going to get to that anyway.
Yes.
So here we are. We're going to pick up where we left off. So we're at Mama.
We are at Mama. This is J Hope's.
This is J
I
Hope's
hope so.
song.
Yeah, the song.
So bear with us. We're trying to remember what we said last time.
Yeah, I'm
But
just
we've
gonna.
got some notes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go over the notes and
Okay.
everything because it's gonna be organic. You know.
We're doing our best.
Yes. That's what we're doing.
Okay. So what did you have?
I started off after hearing this, and I heard it being played, and I don't remember. It must have been on a YouTube something or another, the the video or something or a live performance. But anyway, it was a live performance,
Mm-hmm.
and around Mother's Day. So that was the first time I heard it outside of
Oh,
the album.
yeah.
So it to me it was, and I know we've said this about several songs, but it was a love letter to his mom and two moms.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got for is that for all the sacrifices made, the support, the encouragement, the gratitude, the counsel, just a source of everything that a mom does in support of what your child's dream is, or their desire is, the things that they're working for.
Mm-hmm.
Even something as simple as, well, no, transportation is not simple. That is a lot of around. So the transportation, and when your child is kind of feeling a little down, so you fix them that favorite meal, or you give them their favorite little snack or something, just to let them know, hey, I understand what you're going through. I know it's hard,
Mm.
but here, I'm thinking about you, lifting you
Yeah.
up. So yeah, that was my initial thought on the song.
And to piggyback on that, I put the cost of his dream to dance was his mother making sacrifices he wasn't aware of until he grew up and understood.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
think and I can speak to that because like I'm your child.
Yes, you are.
And I was once a little child and
Yes,
now
you
I'm
are.
an adult, and so I see things in the world a lot differently now than I did when I was a child.
Right.
There were so many things that I wasn't aware of, so many things that were hidden from me because I didn't need to know.
Exactly.
I
There
didn't
was
need
no
to
need to
know.
know. Right.
And you see your parents doing things and you don't question why. You figure they're doing what they need to do.
Right.
And then when you become an adult and you start making sacrifices, whether you're making sacrifices for your own children or just making sacrifices for yourself just to survive in the world, and then you start to understand. And I think that's where he was when he made this song. He was a kid watching his mom just do things, and yeah, it was all of a sudden now she had another job that she had to work, or she was doing things like she wasn't buying things that she used to buy, or and I think it says here that his dad wasn't a fan of it,
No.
wasn't eager to let him go and do these things, pursue this dream.
Right.
But his mom, she made it work for
She
him.
made it work.
And when he was a kid, he probably just figured it was just adults being adults,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he realized, I think after getting into BTS and seeing the sacrifices that he had to make for his own career,
For his own.
and
Yes.
then it
Yes.
just kind of, I think, made
For
sense.
himself.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
made sense. And then I think you get a new level of appreciation for he got a new level of appreciation for his mom, and
Yeah.
it became more of an effort to pay her back for everything, and
that
to
was his vow.
make sure she understood that he loved her, and he understood. Yeah, he appreciated her.
Yes. Yes.
And I put, he wanted to work hard to prove he could succeed, and his mom's sacrifice wasn't in vain. He wanted to make her proud, and he feels that he has now.
Yes.
And when it comes to lyrics like where is it at? Now you can believe in your son, you can smile.
Mm.
I think that it's him accepting, like, I achieved my dream. She helped me get here.
Yeah.
And be proud of me now, Mom. I
Yes.
did
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
I did it. So,
And the promise prior to that verse, the promise is, I was determined to succeed, and with that promise alone, I became the son I am now.
mm-hmm.
And his promise and his vow to his mom is that he would always protect her. She would always be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he does will be something that she could be proud of. She would, it would cause her to smile and not be shameful for
And
any of his actions or anything like
and
that.
she, and it's not really speculation. I've seen, you haven't watched it yet, but J Hope's documentary, J Hope in the Box.
No, I haven't
Yeah,
seen it.
we'll have to watch it together. But I've
We
seen
have
it.
to watch
And and like his mom kind of has like a shrine to him and his sister, because his
Oh,
sister is really successful on YouTube.
yeah.
She's an influencer. She's got a very big following, and she's, holding her own.
Yes.
And yeah, she's got his mom. Their mom has, their little shrine, and you see it when he goes home to visit. And even his dad has like a rock sculpture, a rock garden for them. And like,
Really?
yeah, he does.
Oh, wow.
So they have their things where they're showcasing their pride for their children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really cute, their family dynamic.
Yeah.
And then if you've seen interactions between him and his sister, they're hilarious. They're typical siblings, and she's such an older sister, and it's really, really cute. How he just kind of lets her be the older sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they yeah, I think I agree with you. This is definitely a love letter to his mom, a promise to his mom, and just an acknowledgement.
Yeah. Yeah.
An
And
acknowledgement.
I also, within the first, the refrain, I love what he said about, hey mama, I'm sorry mama. I know now a grace like the heavens, mama. And that put me on the line of thinking how grateful he is, and that she, the grace she showed. And grace is, being un unearned favor, kindness, support. That's a gift given freely. There's nothing you could do to earn that. That's
Mm-hmm.
just a gift given freely. And I mean, that was just through the deeds and what she meant to him. And I think that the grace just shows a spiritual act, um a spiritual,
Act of kindness.
no, it'll come to me. Come back.
Like, just had it. Dang it.
Spiritual association
See?
with God. And because he talks about grace, and of course that's one of God's greatest gift to us. And then he talks about, like the heavens. Well, I mean, that's to me, that's a direct referral to God. So I just think he really understood that when he grew up, he understood that it was nothing that he did. She gave it freely to him.
I think a mother's love is probably the closest you can get to the level of God's love. Like, if you're measuring love, like, God's love is probably like the greatest measurement of love. But then right underneath it, I think, is mother's love.
Yeah.
A mom's love, unconditional love, real love. Yeah.
You guys are the only ones that get to hear our heartbeat from the inside.
Yeah. I guess that's special. I don't remember it, but I knew it.
Oh,
I knew it then, I guess.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did. You knew it then. But that's a love it's unmeasured. It's unconditional. It's deep. It's a deep, deep love.
Hmm. Do you have any other final thoughts on Mama?
Both of us noted that about the medicine.
Oh, yes, we did.
We
Okay,
both noted
so
that.
going into that
The placebo.
bridge,
Yeah.
yeah. So when he says, though only one mother's hand is medicine hand, you are. Oh, what was that?
Just a notification.
Somebody didn't silence their phone.
Yeah, somebody didn't.
You are forever my placebo. I thought it was really interesting, and then we shared this note together.
Mm.
You know, placebo is usually like the fake medicine.
Yeah.
It's the thing you give somebody to make them believe they're taking the medicine to see if they actually do, like if there is, if the medicine they're testing against actually has an effect.
Right. Right.
I just thought that was really interesting. I don't think he means anything like that by it. I think I'm not entirely sure what I think. I just noted it.
Well, it's the power of the placebo. They give you the medication knowing that it has no real effect, but within you, you're believing and feeling that it has an effect on you, that it is solving the problem for which you're taking it for. It's making you feel better. It's it's causing you to kind of self heal because you begin to believe, oh, okay, I'm not having those pains anymore.
So, I mean, I don't know if there's a way to directly translate that into the entire message of the song. I just thought it was a really odd thing that stood out. But what do I know?
I just think
it was just an observation that I had, and then it was an observation that you had. And who knows? Maybe this isn't even the correct translation.
Well, yeah,
because that's also a possibility.
That's possible, yes.
And I don't think we looked up to see if there was any other translation of that, but we could.
Yeah,
we could. But I'm gonna leave that alone, only because I just wasn't sure exactly if it meant or if it warranted a further discussion. I think it was just something I noticed and noted.
I think that he may be saying that,
and again, this is speculation.
Yes, complete. That he doesn't. She is there to help heal his hurts, and it's not by medicine. It's just by love.
That's a good thing to end on. That's good.
Okay.
I think we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Mother's love.
Mother's love.
It's great. It's the placebo
you
get prescribed.
Oh, and I forgot the beginning of that funky beats on the beginning of this. I like that, Mama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can end on that one.
I thought we had a really good ending before, but whatever. We're improvising.
Yes.
And because it's a song about mamas, I'll let you have that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Because what other choice do I have, really?
None.
I don't.
Although you do the editing, so I guess you do have a choice. Don't do that.
I won't do that to
Don't do
you.
that to me.
I won't do that to you, but you got a good point there.
I know I do. I know. Yeah.
All right, going into Awake. Jin's song. Okay. So I wrote, is this BTS Jin or is this storyline Jin?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I kept thinking about the storyline that is woven into the music videos and the short films from HYYH,
Right.
from this Wings era, and also from The Love Yourself, and his character, and how his character is, kind of, he's jumping through time to try to save everyone and kind of restore that the way they used to be.
The relationship, yeah.
Yeah. And just making everything okay. Mm-hmm. They're going through this period where they're all dealing with these different struggles, and they're not the same. Things are happening to them. Tragic things are happening to them. Just some really dark things are happening to them. They're dealing with their depression. They're dealing with these real life situations, and their dynamic is different. And so he's trying to go back to the way it was. So I didn't know, when listening to the song and looking at the lyrics, if if there was that direct tie-in or not.
Right.
But my note was, this song feels like he is helpless and powerless, but continues to try to move forward to achieve a desired outcome. He feels small to me in this song, very limited, very human. And then I wrote, is he fighting his fate, or is it his fate to fight?
Mm-hmm.
And is he meant to struggle? Is that his destiny?
Yeah. I'm gonna start off because I ended off with the opening of Mama. I'm gonna start off with the opening of this. He opened up with strings, and he
Mm-hmm.
opened up with horns.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Jen.
Because we do love that.
I do love that, and I thank you so much for that. Um, I opened up with the self discovery, confronting one's inner darkness, and connecting with one's true self.
Mm.
That's what I started out with this with, but it I think both of us was kind of jumping back and forth between whether or not it was the storyline, or his
Just a
just his feelings, his just
yeah.
his growth,
Yeah.
just him going through life. And I wavered back and forth, and I hadn't nailed anything,
I mean,
but
neither
it's
did
not.
I,
But
because when you go into verse 2, and I'll just read it really quickly. I'm just walking and walking among this darkness. My happy times asked me this question. You, are you really okay? It asked me. Oh no, I replied. No, I'm so afraid. Still, I hold the 6 flowers tightly in my hands. I'm just walking, I said. Oh no. And I was wondering, like, okay, because there are flowers that are brought up in the
right,
storyline, and I was like, oh, are the flowers, are they his boys? Are they the other
yeah,
members?
yeah,
And then does that mean that the members are his happy times? And
yes,
that,
yeah,
like, trying to go back and fix everything so they can go back to those happy times.
right,
So
right.
I mean, I wasn't sure. There was just a lot to take in, but I will say this about this song. Jen's voice is beautiful. I can't say it enough. Jen has, and it I'm sad that it took us until this point to realize just how great of a vocalist he is.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
he didn't start off that way.
Mm,
You know, he had to work really hard to get to that level. And when you have other vocalists in your group like JK and V and Jimin, who bring these different dynamics to the vocal line,
mm-hmm.
you know, he really did work hard, you know, to a point where he was talking in his sleep
I was
about
gonna
that.
ask you if that was him, because I'm like,
That
that's the
was,
first thing
yeah,
that popped in my
where
mind.
he was
That's right.
kind of scolding himself for messing up in his dream,
Yeah.
um about, you know, singing. And it Suga and J-Hope were the ones that heard it,
Mm-hmm.
and at first they thought it was kind of funny, like, oh wait, what's he do? But then they realized, like, he's working hard even when he's sleeping.
Yeah.
He's still working.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it says a lot about his ability to push himself to that level to achieve that, you know, those goals. And I
Yeah.
think even though it was where he was working hard because he just didn't want to be the one that held the group back,
Mm-hmm.
but he shines so much, and I feel like he deserves so much love and praise, because I don't think he gets the recognition. And I understand that, you know, he came later to the solo era. He didn't do his solo albums until after he got
Okay.
out
Right.
of his
Right.
enlistment.
Right.
And he hit us back to back with one in November and then one in May.
Yes. Yes.
But he's got such a dynamic, like, powerful, full-bodied voice.
Full body voice. He does. He does. And this was my first chance. Yes and no, but this was an opportunity for me to hear, and I'm glad they did this like this. And I don't know if it was preparation for them getting ready to go out on their
Well, I mean,
do their own solos.
that was
I
so many
know it
years
was
in
yeah,
advance.
it was like almost what, 10 years
Well,
ago.
no. Well, yeah,
Nine,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So this is
almost this
2016, yeah.
2016. So
Mm-hmm.
but his voice is so rich,
Mm,
so full body, like you said,
decadent.
so nice. I even know, I said, I noted this song and Jen singing had such dimension, peaks and valleys. I really loved hearing him sing.
Mm.
It kept me listening, even if it was like a roller coaster ride, in between his high points and his low points. It was well worth the ride. He has a really sweet voice. His voice, I say sweet and I use sweet, but it's kind of an oxymoron because I've said full body. But it's really pure in the sense of pure and strong.
It's
He's
dynamic.
yes, he can trip you up at any given time, any given song. He could trip you up because you could sit there thinking you're going to hear it a certain way, and he just kind of just, well, you're not going to do that right now.
Well, he did explore a lot of different genres in his solo work. He leaned a little more towards like alt rock. He did a country song. He does have like the pop ballads, but I think his voice is just one of those voices. It, like you said, it's very rich, and when you're listening to him within the group, he adds so much dimension, but you don't realize that he's the one that's adding it.
Right.
There are certain points where he's hitting high notes in the background and you don't realize that it's him.
Yeah.
But it makes that moment in the song.
Mm-hmm.
And just to hear him on his own, I mean, I don't know if pride. I'm very proud of Jin. I'm very proud of all of them, but I love that Jin had this moment to just kind of shine on his own.
Yeah, absolutely.
He wasn't getting lost in the vocal line. He wasn't, hiding in the background. He was out there front and center,
yeah,
with his silver voice and his worldwide handsome visuals.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he was very much like, I'm here, this is me, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Okay, and then we go into Lost. So this is a vocal line song.
Yes.
And it's a song about that transition between like becoming an adult, which is noted in the very first verse,
right?
With the very end, like, I've never felt this way before. Am I becoming an adult? The first verse is just a bunch of questions, a bunch of confusion, right. And they're just, I love that they associate it with, this must be adulthood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand where I'm going, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Am I even doing it right? This is adulthood.
It comes with questions.
It comes with so many questions and no guidebook.
Yeah, no, that's true.
No guidebook. But then we go into the pre-chorus, and I love the last two lines. To lose your path is the way to find that path. And I put, you find yourself when you lose yourself. Absolutely. It forces you to figure yourself out, learn about your strengths and weaknesses, and this is growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you had a note.
I did. I said it's about how sometimes you lose yourself in your way and you don't know where you're going, yet somehow you find yourself as you move forward and get back to your path or get to your path. So it is. I agree with the you lose yourself, you find yourself, and I think that it is. It's a time in your life when you're going through these things and you're trying to figure you out. I mean, you come from your parents and that surrounding, your friends, your relatives, that surrounding. But then when you get to be on your own, whether it happens in college or whether you get a job and you're in your own place, you begin to figure out your likes, your dislikes. That's why I think it's always important to have the opportunity to maybe live alone first,
learn about
yourself, learn about what you like, learn about how you prefer things, and this way, you know when you go into a long-term relationship or you're in a long-term relationship, you begin to understand, okay, this is me. I can't say I don't know where this is coming from. This is me. I know what I like. I know, what kind of grabs me. But yeah, and then with that, I'm becoming an adult. I put excellent observation
because
it is an excellent observation.
Because it is the truth.
Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking on what you were saying earlier about moving forward. on the path. I put in the chorus, moving forward with purpose even when you can't see the destination.
Mm.
And that's what this song is essentially about.
Mm-hmm.
I did make a note because they opened verse 2 with I once saw an ant going somewhere, and I was like, that's interesting, where is this going? But then they close that verse with we will return home at once just like an ant.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to look it up because I was like, why are they talking about ants?
Yeah.
When they're talking about being lost. But ants, they seem like they're doing, just going wherever, they're wandering around. They seem like they don't really have a purpose or a destination.
Excuse me.
But the fact of the matter is that they do. Every movement they make is for the good of the colony. They have a purpose within that colony, and they're setting out to fulfill that purpose.
Right.
To better the colony. So when you look at it, like, it seems mundane and it seems very kind of like in the dark, what am I doing? But at the end of the day, there's a purpose for it, and you're doing what you need to do because the destination, even though you can't see it, it's there. You're there. Going towards it. And then going into the bridge, I put taking ownership of their journey and ultimately their destiny. They accept the struggle, the confusion, the pain and uncertainty, trusting that it will be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
And then I put a note as a song about faith. I think we had that same comparison.
Yeah.
Because we're like,
I believe it to be about faith.
Yeah.
Too.
About faith in themselves, faith in their journey, faith in their ability,
faith in their purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I put a note here, lost equals moving in purpose. Why are you smiling at me like that?
Because that is very true.
So
yeah. I like that. And here we come on cipher number 4. The cipher queen.
Before I get into it, do you have anything to say about this?
The rap line has so much confidence and dedication to their craft. I really believe that. They, in this cipher, because I've only heard 2. I heard. Yes, I've heard all 4. Of them. Yeah, I've heard all 4.
I was like, man, where were you the other? I don't know.
Okay. Well, you know what? I did give those to you. It wasn't until 3 and 4 that I really kind of
took ownership of, right. Like, no.
But you, for the first 2 were really you. I said starts out with playful apologies, very playful, because I don't believe that. I'm not saying he doesn't mean his apologies.
He doesn't mean his apology.
But I'm saying what he's saying is, sorry for you. Just sorry for you for that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Let me play this tiny violin.
Right. So and then what else did I with verse 1 I put sarcasm, self-confidence, and defiance. I just that's RM.
That's
and it's I also I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but there now it says in the what is it? It's in the first verse. It says I know I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. It says let's just try it, and they're speaking of an instrument.
Well, samunori.
Is that what?
Samunori. Yeah.
Okay. That's Korean percussion music or instrument. It's has a modern abduction of traditional Korean music. So adaptation. Okay, that's what I meant to say. of Korean music, and that struck a chord with me, because I ease into the music, and also with it being the percussion section. I love the percussion section. So it kind of struck me as, oh, okay. But I'd really like to know, did you by any chance, when you broke down verse 1, did you by any chance find anything that kind of made that particular line stand out?
Well, he says right before it, "I'll be the drum, just hit me hard. Let's try it." I feel like, oh, there was a note about this. I didn't write it down, but I remember we had gone over it when we were looking at one of the videos that kind of broke down the song. Um, I think it was just like a reference to like, hey, you can beat me all you want to. I'm just gonna sound great.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. That was my take,
No,
but
that's fine. I was just wondering. It drew me in a little bit. It probably took me down a rabbit hole.
it could have.
But that was my question to you.
Okay. Any other notes?
Uh, no, 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 no. I mean, I think that a couple of the other things that we kind of hit together on too, J Hope and
So you're gonna
so
let me
I'm gonna let you have
oh,
this.
okay.
I'm gonna let you have
Okay. So
it.
whoa, okay. Well, let me start off by saying I did say in the Dark and Wild episode that Cypher 3 was my favorite.
Yeah.
And then Cypher 4 was my second favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And after I looked into this song, like after I got the translation and I really kind of dug into it, I like this one more. This
Then
is my
three.
first favorite.
Oh, your first favorite.
Yes.
Okay.
So I love Cypher 3 and I love what it brings to the table. But this one, it built the table.
Ooh.
I love the coolness of it. I love the way they just kind of shift from I'm going to counterattack with my sharp words and my, precision delivery to I mean, if that's how you feel, I'm over here too busy living this great life that I'm building for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess hate on. Um, and that's how I feel about it. So let me go into it. So the first notes I wrote, is this a diss to haters in general, as opposed to specific haters they know by name or specific instances of being talked about? And I put the sorry bae sounds sarcastic. Using bae, which is a term of endearment used within couples, feels very ironic.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yes.
But let's go into the intro. The intro is so it's a short intro and it just speaks volumes because it's RM saying name, sorry bae. Pronunciation, sorry bae. Diction, sorry bae. Oh face, not an idol. Sorry bae. Um and basically what it is he's clapping back at those who mocked his stage name, Rap Monster.
Mm-hmm.
They criticize his pronunciation and articulation when he raps, and they definitely mocked his use of English within his Korean raps. And then they jabbed at his physical appearance and focused more on that over his skill, claiming he would never succeed as an idol because he wasn't pretty. And I don't know the inner workings of the idol system and like what is considered a successful looking idol,
Mm-hmm.
but I know they have one. And apparently RM did not fit it. And you know what? If you don't want them, we'll take them. We'll take them because sir, those dimples will win every time. Every time. But I feel like the thing is he was just like, oh, okay, so you're just gonna focus on my face, but you're gonna forget all of this that I'm bringing.
Yeah.
All these songs that I wrote, all these beats that I created, these like collaborations that I've done. Like he's just so talented and so sought after for his skill.
Right.
But then when he got into the idol game, it was like, oh well, you don't really belong here. He was like, yes, I do. Then going into his verse, because that's just the intro. Going into his verse where he's basically saying, you're gonna keep coming at me, but like, look what I'm doing. Like, look what I'm achieving. And I don't know what you want me to do. Like, just keep yapping. I'm just gonna keep doing me.
Right.
He goes into of the line about it's about to get boring, boring, babe. I'm not hateful of you anymore. I'm not hateful of you anymore. Sorry, babe. And I love that line because it shows growth. He's saying that he's changed and his outlook on oh dang it. Okay. He's changed his outlook and he's not about lashing out angrily trying to defend himself against critics anymore. He's accepted that they're haters and they're gonna hate, and all he can control is how he lets it affect him, and he's choosing to acknowledge and accept. Hate me all you want, I'm still winning. That's basically what it says. And then at the very end, he goes, I don't know you, but you know my name. I love it. I love it because it's like the aura, it just oozes with like this confidence. It's like, you know what? Who are you? Yeah. Who even are you? But you know me, my name stays in your mouth. And I just, it's so good. It's such a way to end that verse. The chorus is so great because basically what it's saying, so the chorus is I love myself. I love myself. I know myself. You'll play a hater, you should love yourself. Which basically kind of says like, I got to this point where I know and love myself. And maybe if you did some inner work and focused on you more than focusing on me, you might also achieve some success. You might also find yourself in great places. But here you are sitting behind your screen, keyboard warrior, typing all the hate comments. And that
hurt me.
So I love that. Then we go into J-Hope, and I put this verse is a flex, but also stating that he worked hard and continues to work hard to achieve his success. J-Hope is so interesting to see because he has a lot of talent and he pushes himself even further to achieve these dreams. He works so hard and he's such a perfectionist. And when it comes to him solo or just within the group, he's constantly he has a vision. He has a vision. I think the guys all have like gotten to that point where they understand. Just trust the process and it's gonna look great. And when you look at their stage performances, they look so good because J-Hope really kind of pushes them because he sees something and it's not there yet. And then when it's there, he's like, okay, this is good. He's such a perfectionist and he works so hard. J-Hope's verse speaks to his ambition and work ethic. He can brag about his success because he worked incredibly hard to achieve it. And incredibly is such an understatement. He didn't get lucky or buy his way to the top. And if you know the story, you know they started off in the trenches. So, you know, they weren't buying their way into any rooms. They had to earn their way there. And he definitely earned his place in these rooms. And, you know, they worked their way. They put in the long days. He put in the sleepless nights. He sacrificed choosing his dream over comfort. He's always looking forward, reaching out for his next dream. I feel like it's going to be a long time before we see him say, I'm done. Like, I feel like there's always something else that he's like, oh, well, you know, I could go for that. Like, I could try that. And he's going to keep going forward. Then we get into, I'm speaking really fast because we are trying not to have an hour-long episode. I'm trying to spare you. Then we get into Suga's verse. And I did not realize the first few times I heard it that he whispers his name before the verse, but I love that. I love it. It's just, it's such a like smug. It's smug in a good way. I don't know if there's a good way to be smug, but if there is, it's
this
Suga.
Is it. This
like
is
Suga's the only one I know of that can do it. Like, I don't know anybody else.
Good smug.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of people like kind of whispering their name before they sing their songs, but I'll let him get away with it. I'll let him get away with it because it's Suga.
Of course, it's Suga. That's
Mingy.
right. That's right.
What are you gonna do? Like, tell him to stop, please.
Not at all.
So he goes into, you know, his verse, bringing up the oh, what's the word? Crow tits, which are the little birds with short legs, and basically he's saying, call him what you want. The truth is, he's the best, and if you really think about it, he is.
Mm,
He is the
mm.
one of the most sought after producers
Yes, yes, he
in the
is. A
K-pop
lot of credit
industry.
to his
Yeah,
name.
he's got people, wanting to like lining up to work with him. Man is gonna be busy for the rest of his life. Um, he does talk about digital success versus actual success. It's easy to flex on social media with props, but actually living a luxurious life and having real wealth is what he has. Wealth is quiet. You barely see Sugar online. Like he's hardly
Yeah.
online, and he's never flexing on the internet. He doesn't need to. Like
Mm,
he just does, and then he's great, and you sing his praises. Um, there's a line later in the verse where he says, "I'm always thankful for not earning anything so easily." I love this line. It shows that he truly appreciates what he's
yeah.
achieved because he worked hard for it,
Yes.
and there's something about earning something and really kind of taking in how much work you put into it,
Hmm.
and just acknowledging, like, I did that. that's
Right.
that's
Right.
my win. And then the end, because I'm gonna earn more from now on, by all means please live healthily. Which kind of, like, you would think, like, oh, it's kind of like some word of advice. No, basically what he's saying is, I need you to be healthy so you can keep hating me. Please live long and watch me prosper.
Yes, right. Right. Right.
um Sugar, and I've said this before, when you put Sugar at the end of a song like this, like, he's going to kill it. Like, he's bringing it home.
Yeah.
And again, Sugar never disappoints in a cipher. I adore the rap line. We all know that by
Yeah.
now, and if you
Yeah.
don't, I'm telling you, I adore the rap line. This cipher is a masterclass in calmly and elegantly putting haters in their place, letting their work rather than their words do the talking.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know what else to say. I'm sad this is the last cipher. I hope it's not.
No, I think you've already put your bid in.
But you know what? Actually, at this point, I don't know if I would want to see a fifth cipher, because I feel like they're at this point now where, like, this was the mic drop,
Right.
but I want them to focus more on what they do rather than responding to the hate they're getting or any criticism they're getting. I want them to prioritize themselves over countering these attacks.
Does a cipher have to be that way?
I don't know.
Be-
Because as much as I love rap, I don't know it all. But I feel like if they're going with this pattern, then yes. I feel like ciphers are kind of like diss tracks.
okay. I thought, and I think I looked it up. I'm not
I
sure.
think
I
we
don't
looked it up in
remember
one of the first or
that
second
it
one.
was sort of a birthed out of a like a jam sort of
Like a
a
freestyle,
freestyle,
yeah,
right?
or rap
So and
battle.
it right, but no, you're right.
I
I'm
mean, if
sorry.
you think about
I'm
it,
thinking in my mind it could be something else, but when you're holding your credentials up to what you think they are or what you think they should be or whatever, and I'm showing them, I'm putting them before you. That's really, you can't really go somewhere else with that and do the same thing. I mean, because they have matured, they have done other things in their careers and also in their personal lives, but it doesn't match, you know, slapping the haters.
yeah, I feel like at this point now, they're all out of the military. They're
Yes.
working on their comeback,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want them to prioritize themselves
Yeah.
instead of trying to figure out, you know, how to diss everybody that attacked them in 3 minutes.
You're right. It's
So, like,
it's a
I
whole lot.
was, before they got out, I was being greedy. I wanted another cipher. I'm not alone in that one. I know there's other people that want
Of
another
course,
cipher.
yeah, yeah,
But I feel like, personally, I just want them to enjoy this time that they
yeah.
have. They're all back together. I want them to just kind of enjoy being together, and making music that makes them feel good. And you know what? If attacking them in another cipher makes them feel good, then fine. But
Well, I tell you,
I'm
I
not
think
asking for it.
I think
I'm
we
just
can.
saying if it happens, I'll accept the
And
gift.
you know what? Yes, I'm sure you will. But maybe we could just stamp that complete.
Yeah, there's no more asking. I'm
Yeah.
just going to let it be. If it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, at least I got four, and those were good ones. And this last one was a very good one to go
Yes.
out on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know they can top it, but I don't think they need to. I think this was
No,
just a really
no.
good ending to
Yeah.
their
As you
ciphers.
said, it was a master class. Yeah.
And
I
they
think it
can
was
just
fine.
move forward in spreading their messages of self-love and self-acceptance, and just go out there and live their lives, whatever that looks like. um and then make their music and bring their sound back to our ears.
Yes, because we want it. We want that. Okay. Am I
Now,
wrong?
am I wrong? No,
No.
I'm not wrong.
You know,
But
of course I'm not.
of course
So
I'm
why
not.
would you even think that?
What kind of question is that? I put this song feels like a song about social issues and feeling powerless to change it. And then we discovered that that was correct.
Yes, 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 yes.
That was correct. This
That's why I
was
said centers in social commentary, political frustration, and feeling of being unheard in this crazy world.
Yeah, and I remember we talked a little bit about the intro, and we were like, "How does that fit with it?" It says, "Am I wrong? Falling in love with you? Tell me, am I wrong? While your other man was out there cheating and lying and stepping all over you." And we were like, "What?" And
Yeah,
then they go
yeah.
into this song about the world's going crazy, and they
Yes,
talk
yes.
about the criticism of the government. But I made a note that that's not about a person; it's about the government.
Right, right.
It's about their government,
Yes.
manipulating them, gaslighting them,
Mm-hmm.
um, trying to get them to look the other way
Right.
while they do these questionable things.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about, oh, there's a line, we're all dogs and pigs. We get mad and turn
Yeah.
into beasts. That's actually a derogatory term
Yes.
used to refer to the citizens as a whole.
Yes.
So as a mass, they're calling them dogs and pigs.
Mm-hmm.
The stork versus crow tit. It's a worry day, a constant conflict between upper and lower class, the haves and have-nots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then it says, now scream out Mayday, Mayday. Oh, and this one we talked about, we discovered that
Yeah.
that may possibly be a tie-in to the Seaworld ferry tragedy,
Right, right, right.
and how that whole thing was just handled so poorly.
Yeah.
And yeah, the
Yeah.
Korean government at the time was doing some questionable things, leaving citizens confused, upset, wondering if things would ever be okay again.
Right.
And then as I wrote that, I was like, that sounds familiar.
And then what else did you write?
This beat is so good. Such a hype song. Is this an anthem? Oh my god.
Question mark for anthem. Yes, yes.
I did not have anything else to say on that. Obviously not living in Korea, not being a part of the Korean citizenship and dealing with the
Right.
Korean government, there's only so much we can really say.
Right.
But they have always been very outspoken about political injustices
Mm-hmm.
and just the corruption of their education system and their government. Like that's one of the things that they're living in and they're dealing with and are often being attacked by
Yes. Yeah.
for their criticism. They've been silenced because of their vocalization of how the wrongdoings.
Yeah.
So I'm let them speak about it.
Right, yeah,
I don't have any other notes,
Right,
because I don't feel like it's our place to give
exactly.
notes.
I just said the song sounds to be a lot about a tragedy, and also how the lyrics express the frustration to the world's perceived indifference and wrongdoing of negative events. I mean, it's their
It's their lived
yeah,
experience.
their lived experience, exactly. So, but it, am I wrong? I
Yeah.
mean, that's their thought. Am I wrong?
And this song was banned, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was banned. The album came out in October, and I don't think this was played full in its entirety until in a blog and on the 23rd of October, so 13 days.
Yeah, so it was like
Yeah.
2 weeks after the
After,
promotions
yeah, yeah.
was the first time it was actually played
Hmm.
fully
Yeah,
for the world.
yeah.
And but you know what? They live their truth, they speak their truth,
Hmm.
and all we
I
can
mean,
do is listen
yeah.
and
I mean,
learn.
exactly,
So,
exactly. So, are we going on to
well, I
21st
think
Century
we're
Girl?
going to take a breather,
Okay.
and we're going to end this episode here.
Okay.
And then we'll pick up with 21st Century Girl
Mm-hmm.
for next week.
Okay.
So we'll say bye for now.
And
Bye for now.
bye for now.
And we'll see you next week with
Okay.
the rest of Wings and the 3 songs from You Never Walk Alone.
Guys, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.